$4.1 million. That is how much conspiracy theorist Alex Jones will have to pay for his lies. A jury awarding that sum to the parents of 6-year-old Jesse Lewis, who was killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School nearly 10 years ago. Following the judgment, Jones took to the airwaves and said this.
I admitted I made a mistake. I admitted that I followed disinformation, but not on purpose. I apologized to the families. And the jury understood that. What I did to those families was wrong, but I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can say he didn't do it on purpose, but this may be just the start of Jones's legal trouble, because the plaintiff's lawyer is saying that the January 6th committee has actually asked for Jones's phone records, which includes text messages revealed during this trial. Joining us now is CNN national correspondent Erica Hill and CNN senior media reporter Oliver Darcy. All right, let's start first, Erica, with this trial. $4.1 million. They'd asked for $150 million, but this is just one family. And this may not be the end of it, because there may be other damages awarded.
There could be. So these were the compensatory damages that were awarded yesterday. The attorney for the plaintiffs telling Oliver that he was thrilled with the decision, that Scarlett Lewis and Neil Heslin were thrilled with the decision here, and that they did note, right, there are other defamation lawsuits pending, as you just pointed out. The punitive damages, that part of the trial will start rather today. So there could be more damages coming in just this trial alone. But you bring up an interesting point when you talk about other families, because there are other cases pending. And this is a point that one of our legal analysts, Paul Callan, made last night, was that the jury may have taken into account that there are other defamation cases pending, and that perhaps they are thinking about the other families who may potentially be compensated. And that may have figured into how they came up with this number.
So potentially 4 million times 20, as much as that.
Well,
potentially. So, Oliver, I want you to put the 4 million in context, because Alex Jones is a conspiracy entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He has monetized lies to an extraordinary extent. So how big a bite is $4 million out of the amount of money he's made over the past few years?
$4 million is a lot of money, obviously.
Yes.
But it is a drop in the bucket compared to how much Alex Jones has profited over the years off of lies and conspiracy theories similar to Sandy Hook, right? We know, according to bankruptcy filings, that in the 17 most recent months of financial data we have, that he's made over $22 million in profit. We know that his chief restructuring officer testified this week that he had $9 million in cryptocurrency donations. And we know that from the trial that he was making upwards of $800,000 a day in 2018.
$800,000 a day.
It's not a stretch of the imagination to say that over his career, pushing lies, pushing hate, he has made probably, hundreds of millions of dollars. There's just no raw financial data, because according to the accountant that's now in charge, there really wasn't any accounting at his business. But just taking the most recent data and multiplying it across his career, that's a large sum of money. So $4 million, a lot of money, but a drop in the bucket in the
He's declared bankruptcy. Doesn't mean he's bankrupt. And the families are saying that he's actually pulled a ton of money, tens of millions of dollars out of the parent company of InfoWars.
Yeah.
So that's that question of, are they going to be able to see this money? But the bombshell moment of this trial, the text messages of Alex Jones. Oh, actually, they do exist. And his attorney accidentally sent them all to the prosecution. Now, law enforcement wants them. The January 6th committee wants them. And that's where we're going here.
Yeah, I mean, that was, yesterday before, as we were all waiting to hear what these damages would be, that's what we heard about first, were these text messages, the request from the January 6th committee and from law enforcement, according to the attorney for the plaintiffs. And he said, look, unless you say to me, Judge, Mr. Bagson, there's no reason, you can't do this, I'm going to turn them over. The judge did give the defense team some time to basically try to come up with a reason why she should not say, sure, go ahead and turn these over. Not clear whether they've come up with anything yet. I guess we'll learn a little bit more today.
But Oliver, given your knowledge of Alex Jones on January 6th and the nexus he played in the broader Trump and conspiracy theorist orbit, what's the potential jeopardy or information we could get from these?
I mean, we could get a lot. Alex Jones is someone who has boasted, that he has knowledge of basically the inner workings of the White House. He's a key figure in right-wing media, so he's undoubtedly texting key players who do have contact. And so there could be a lot of interesting messages in those text messages, and we expect to hear more about whether he's free to release these basically to the January 6th committee today. So potentially before the weekend starts, the January 6th committee could have 2 years of Alex Jones's text messages and phone records.
Such an important trial on its own, and including these connections to January 6th. Erica, Oliver, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Joining us now is a writer for the New York Times, Elizabeth Williamson. She has been in the courtroom for this trial, and she is also the author of a new, very important book called Sandy Hook, An American Tragedy and the Battle for Truth. And it's that battle for truth that is so important to talk about here, Elizabeth. I do want to ask you first, though, starting with these damages, what are the implications of $4.1 million in compensatory damages for this one family?
I think for Scarlett Lewis and Neil Heslin, Brianna, this is sort of a moral victory. They felt like they needed, a symbolic judgment against him. But as they said in court, this is really a victory for truth and also a message sent to others who might, be tempted to harm vulnerable people by spreading lies of this nature.
So is this really going to stop Alex Jones? As you've watched him even doing his show throughout the trial, what do you think?
No, I mean, for someone like Alex Jones, as we know, there's really no bottom. He was on his show claiming victory, saying that that this family loves him now and that their lawyers are using them as pawns. If anyone has used these families as pawns, it's been Alex Jones, who for 10 years has fomented this lie that the shooting was a pretext for gun control planned by the government and that these families were complicit in the plot. He has been responsible for a lot of damage here. And, he's more symbolic. He's really emblematic of the sort of spread of disinformation and false narratives over the past decade since Sandy Hook. He has been part of every one of the most pernicious myths that have caused confrontation and violence in this country, from Pizzagate to Charlottesville to coronavirus myths and the Stop the Steal lie that started the 2021 January 6th insurrection at the Capitol.
That is why your book is so essential. I think if people are looking at your book, it's not just about Sandy Hook. It's about the origin story of all of these conspiracy theories that are just polluting the discussion and really just polluting the nation. I do want to play the bombshell moment because you've been watching this trial there. I want to play the bombshell moment where Alex Jones realizes that the prosecution has all of his text messages, including about Sandy Hook, that he had said in a deposition didn't exist. Here it is.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
No, I didn't know this happened. But I told you I gave them the phone.
Elizabeth, what was it like watching that moment?
What really struck me, Brianna, is that Alex Jones is used to controlling his own narrative on his show. As the judge pointed out to him more than once, this is not his show. She runs this courtroom. And moreover, the justice system is not conducive to a personality it's not a favorable environment for a personality like Alex Jones. He can't just fill the atmosphere with guano and expect people to believe it. He tried to interject his opinion into virtually every one of his answers and was shut down. A court of law is not a favorable place for someone who purveys lies like Alex Jones.
No, well, it certainly is not. Elizabeth, thank you so much for the work that you've been doing as you are wading through all of these efforts by these families to come to some resolution that they so deserve. Thank you.